Time off stage. It's Joey. It's all good.
By the way, my 80-year-old mother takes belly dancing classes, so...
She does. We can show you a video. We're going to show Mark. She even performed that.
All right, what was I going to do? I'll do some jokes. If a blind guy accidentally whacks it... If a blind guy accidentally tugs it to pro wrestling, is he gay? You gotta think about that, right? I have a trans nephew. Does that make me his aunt? I don't know. Oh, by the way, I've heard a lot. I've seen a lot of anti-Hamas hate going around. And I got to tell you, I like Hamas. I support Hamas. I love me some Hamas. Oh, hummus. Sorry. Did you know it's International Sandwich Month? That's amazing. Like, finally, that's International Fat Guy Month, right? Like, we finally got a month. Like, so long, black people have their month. Gay people have their month. Native people have their day. That's just sad. But finally, the fat guys have our month. What was it? Oh, yeah. Is Hamilton Trump country? Is that... No, you guys are Kamalaites? Yeah, I don't trust her. It's not her fault. The only other Kamala I know is the wrestler, the Ugandan headhunter. I find that funny. Caveman who thinks fire is a fad. Why did I write that for? Oh, by the way, in closing, I've heard a lot of, I've seen a lot of anti-Hezbollah talk, and I gotta tell you, I like Hezbollah. I support Hezbollah. I love me some Hezbollah. Okay, thank you, CFTA. Good night.
Mashallah, mashallah. That's what they say. It's like Mazel Tov, the Muslim version of Mazel Tov.
By the way, about 10 years ago, I went to my public school.
Yeah.
I was just going by.
Yeah.
And then I went into the bathroom, and it used to be giant.
Right?
And
it's
I was looking at it like...
It's a mindfuck when you go to somewhere from a really long time ago
really
when you were
fucked
like
up.
a quarter of your size. Everything's 4 times bigger. It's weird.
Well, yeah, that's... All I want to do is talk about Turkey, yeah.
Sure.
Did
Turkey,
I pronounce
yeah.
it right? Turkey, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Turkey,
Yeah
yeah.
also means to eat, so that's what the mothers will always say. Yeah, yeah.
Because I want to be, culturally sensitive.
Yeah.
I haven't always been that way with you.
Yeah, I wanted to talk politics with you about politics, and I forgot what the subject matter was. But I think you're the one to ask about. I was listening to a podcast. I know you're up on these kind of things, but American politics.
Okay.
There was a podcast. It's a Lex Friedman podcast.
Okay.
And he had Cenk Uygur on.
Oh, yeah.
And, he's kind of like he was running for president or something. But, I mean, the guy, he was talking, it's like, he's not wrong. Like, he's not wrong about a lot of things.
Well, I mean, you got to listen to his podcast day to day. He's a leftist, right? So that's...
Well, I don't know if he
that's
is.
his...
I think
that's his ballywick.
Anyway,
right?
I was going to recommend that podcast to you.
Yeah.
It's interesting because he kind of talks to, I think, people like
Turks.
you.
The Young Turks.
And his name is Cenk, like me. Yeah.
That's where I figured out that
Right. That's how you actually pronounce it.
You're actually supposed to pronounce it like chank, almost
No,
like
no,
almost
no.
like a Chinese insult, right? like,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Well, I mean, the culture does go back to Asian roots. Like, it's the Mongol hordes that came over and kind of mixed with whoever happened to be in Persia and like what
Well,
was
look,
Greece
I've said
and
it.
Italy.
The only reason
Yeah.
that I'm here
Yeah.
is because 800 years ago,
Yeah,
when it used to be Constantinople,
yeah,
run by white people,
yeah.
at least Europeans, going over to get their
I
silk,
pass for white. Yeah,
the Muslims invented something called a cannonball,
yeah.
and they blew this thing away.
Oh, it was just a cannonball?
It was just
That's
one
why
cannonball.
it wasn't the planning, the logistics, the mathematics.
And they blew that city
I'm getting
away.
nationalistic. Yeah, it
And
was the
then-
cannonball.
And then 75 years later, the
Yeah.
Queen of Spain
Yeah.
said to an Italian, I want you to go around the world and get me some silk.
Well, that's the pizza, the
And he
margarita.
Yeah, and he wound up in Jamaica, and then and then
That's-
and then
that's
there
an
was something that
amazing
went on
family story,
there. I don't know, slavery or something, and then and now we're here, all because of Turkey.
Yeah, I think they had a ripple effect historically. Like it's weird though. Like growing up, nobody ever had even heard of the country, but there's like an empire that was around for 800 years, and I think it's marketing. It's like they call it the Ottoman Empire because it was the Ottoman Empire.
Right.
But then the country became Turkey, which now is Turkey, and nobody makes that connection, or a lot of people like just on
And
the
why have
surface.
an entire government about putting your feet up on a table?
Right, exactly. Like, what's so special about footrests? I don't know. Why name an entire empire after it? I don't get it.
I love
Turks.
I
Yeah.
love reading about the history of like,
Yeah,
especially like the European medieval stuff, and like the ancient Roman stuff and the Ottomans and the Xerxes. I love that stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Because it's so much better than the politics today. Like it's so way cooler. Question in the back.
Is Xerxes the guy who laughed himself to death?
No,
Who's
Xerxes
that?
is the god king who destroyed the 300
It was
Spartans.
like gladiator films or whatever.
Yeah,
300,
300
yeah,
Spartans.
That's right,
The guy with piercings and
yeah. That ab
Yeah.
film, the ab film, whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, he was the god king of Persia.
mythical
Yeah.
version of But there was somebody, I think, by that.
Well, in the show, he was a
Yeah,
god, but I'm
right.
pretty sure he wasn't a
He
god
wasn't a
back
god.
then.
You're
He
pretty
just
sure?
had good marketing.
Pretty sure, yeah. That's really what it's about.
So, yeah.
And speaking of that, like I got to talk about this. Speaking about turkey, I was always embarrassed because of the association with the foul bird, the turkey, right? Because you hadn't heard of the country, and you go like, "Oh, where are you from? Turkey." I
Well,
would just get a laugh.
I
It's
was
like, what
we
the
used,
fuck?
like.
But
we
I want to
had-
explain how that
We had a
name came-
great education as a kid. I remember, like, when I
Yeah.
was in kindergarten, they taught us about turkey, and I would
Really?
go gobble gobble gobble,
Right,
And
yeah.
everybody would laugh, like. of
But let
course,
me
'cause
tell
we're
you the
five,
quick
but-
history of that. How that name. Yeah. Okay. So the bird actually is a North American bird.
Yeah.
Right. So at some point they brought it back over to England and France. It's a bifurcated story. And in England, they looked at this bird which looked really exotic, and they thought, "Oh, this is the turkey bird. Like it's from Turkey."
Yeah.
Because it's so exotic.
Oh, that's
So that's why they called it a turkey bird. Yeah, and in France, equally weird, they call it.
Turkey. 'Cause they-
What do they call it in French again? Yeah,
Oh, dindon, oui.
dinde,
The
which means
dindon,
from
yeah,
India.
yeah.
So they named it
Oh, that's funny.
from India in France, and they named it from Turkey in England. But then I'm stuck with the name of a country that's a stupid fucking bird. You know,
Well, that's-
they're really stupid.
Up until a few years ago, there was a.
That's why they want you to call it Turkey. Right?
Yeah.
I think so. It's always embarrassing to say you're from Turkey instead of Turkey. Chad. These days, yeah. Or Karen. No, that's another.
Or Philip's penis. Like
Yeah,
somebody.
Philippines, yeah. So Queen
up
Margarita
until
went
a
to Napoli, and that's how pizza was
Oh
because
yeah.
given to her.
One of my
Yeah.
favorite things is like and it's actually kind of related. Up until a couple of years ago, there was a baseball team called the Cleveland Indians, and the reason why they were called the Indians was because when that Italian came over here, he thought he was in India.
Right, Columbus. Yeah.
So it would almost be like if we all got drunk and said we're going to attack Like if we were Americans and we're going, let's attack Mexico. We got drunk and we accidentally attacked Winnipeg. And then 700 years ago, Winnipeg had a
Called the
hockey
Mexicans.
team called the Winnipeg Mexicans. Like, it's exactly the same as
That
the
is.
Cleveland Indians.
Like- Stupid white people.
Yeah. I fucking love that. Yeah. Yeah, it would be funny. Our history would be funny without all the genocide and slavery and torture and murder. Yeah.
But well organized
It would be
versions of all
yeah.
of those things. Well organized genocide and murder. And
But it would be a comedy
Yeah.
without the well-organized genocide.
Yes.
Yeah, if it wasn't as well-organized, it'd be
yeah,
funny.
It wouldn't
still.
work.
But yeah, it
and-
wouldn't have
and I
worked.
think England did so well because I think they were kind of autistic. You know what I mean? Like really organized record keeping. You know, like everything is. You know, even their morality, utilitarianism is like a calculation you make. Like everything is like an engineering mindset. It's like, and they love trains and boats. Come on. Their entire history, their success is really dependent upon the autism of the ruling classes. I think so. This is a theory. Someone should write this up.
That's true, actually. Yeah. And what is Stonehenge other than like blocks, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're
Ooh.
mathematically precise. Like, let's get it exactly there when the sun hits it perfectly. Come on. Sounds autistic.
You didn't go to Göbekli Tepe, did you?
No, I mean, there's really
Okay.
nothing to see there, as I understand it, because it's
Okay.
just like a field that's grown over it.
Right.
Which he's talking Göbekli Tepe, which means
Yeah.
basically fat hill, like
Oh,
or
okay.
tummy. Göbek is a tummy, and Tepe is hill.
Oh, okay.
Well,
It does
right
look-
now
yeah.
it's a hill because it's just basically been grown over, but they can look with lidar.
Radar.
Well, they're starting to dig inside it now. It's going to take decades to go through. But if anybody hasn't heard about it, it's like they found buried deep in remote parts of Turkey, which look like very huge, like 30 times the size of Stonehenge type structures.
Yeah, they're called megaliths.
Yeah, like 13,000 years ago, like Ice Age. Like,
Art.
it's weird.
My favorite
Like
is
10,000 years earlier than we
Yeah,
thought.
my
humans
favorite
made
thing
shit
is
like
they
that.
had a religion.
Yeah.
And 10,000 years before Jesus, Muhammad,
Yeah.
Moses, right?
Right.
Like to them, Christianity are like Scientologists, right? Like a bunch of Johnny come
So-
latelys, right? Like
Sure, original got it
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Not the future iterations. But we are starting a cult. I mentioned it earlier, and
That's right.
it's called Fake Cult. And
Now, you said something about no
yeah.
sex.
no, you
oh,
can
okay,
have all the
okay,
sex you
okay.
want. As
I
long
was
as it's
almost out.
consensual, go for it. Don't worry
He
about
can
it.
be a
Yeah.
monk. I'm not going to
Yeah,
be a monk.
no
I
monks.
want multiple wives in your
Yeah.
cult.
I've even developed a yoga. Like it's called cold yoga. I developed it. Basically, I was dying. I felt like I was dying. This was during COVID. I had moved. I had just had a baby when I was 52. It was freezing cold. I hadn't exercised in like 2 years, and my blood pressure was ridiculously high, and I started medication. I couldn't do anything, and then I just got myself somehow outside in the cold, like really bundled up, like several layers of clothes. And I thought, I'm just going to do one move. And it was basically just like, how far can I bend down
Oh,
to touch
my
my
God.
toe? And that's it. Like, if it's the first night, it's this much. The second night, it was like this much. Third, you know what I mean? Like, eventually.
Oh, I always thought you've
Yeah.
been doing that since you were a teenager.
Well,
but
I've
you're
always
saying
been
that-
flexible, but I can't go quite deep.
But you're saying you couldn't do that before COVID, and then you
I
started
got
this
better
cold
at
yoga.
it. I got
Okay.
better at it.
That's
Yeah.
interesting,
And so basically, I guess and I didn't intend to, but I kind of devised this yoga that could be done in a small, like maybe jail cell. Maybe I'm just.
jail cell yoga.
It's like you basically, yeah, maybe. It's like, and anybody
Prison
could do
Pilates.
it. Anyone can do it. Like if you're in a state where you can hardly move, this is your first move. Right? It's just slightly forward. Maybe that's all you can do. And maybe the next day you go a little bit more. Maybe it takes you months to go like this. Who knows? Like everyone can start at that. If you happen to be down here, you're gonna go a little bit deeper, and then backwards, same way, and then sideways one way, and then sideways the other way, and then you kind of do a squat if you can, and that's it. It's like just a few minutes, and
That's
repeat
the
it.
most impressive
And
thing
that
you've
got
ever
me
done.
back, like I felt alive. Right.
Talking about this, your flexibility.
Jake,
Oh. Oh, Tolu. He's leaving for. Give me a hug. Get up on stage. Say a few words. Yeah. Yeah. Tolu's moving to Vancouver. Do you want to talk or you want to just hug? You okay. Thanks, Joey.
Sorry for kicking you off, man.
Hey, so you're really doing it. You're really moving.
Yeah, moving
Wow.
back home. I've been out here for like 10 years now, so
So you consider that home, Vancouver?
yeah, I consider it home. It's
Yeah.
built my personality, who I am, so it's exciting, man.
But what do you think about the comedy scene there? Like, is that
I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
So I emailed
I don't know
a few
anything about it.
places out
Yeah.
there, but I heard there's good people out there, so good
Yeah.
clubs downtown Vancouver. So
Vancouver's a weird place, though?
yeah,
I mean,
it's a little different.
I lived there for about 7-8 months back in the 90s.
Yeah.
And the
wow.
food was great.
Yeah,
The people were beautiful.
Yeah.
Like everyone seemed to work out and be healthy and like eating organic. This is really like vegetarian way back early 90s. But it's kind of parochial in a way. Like it doesn't have a big city. It has
there's no entertainment. Like
Yeah.
haven't been back since COVID, and I only visit for like a week. But there's not a lot of entertainment, and
Yeah.
that's what's lacking there. There's not.
and maybe there's too much weed because the art is not like it's, I don't know.
There is
right?
some good weed out there for
Like
sure.
it's like Hamilton seems to have more of a vibrant energy
For sure.
in a lot of ways than
Yeah.
than
I've
some
been
of the
out-
bigger
I-
cities.
I moved out here in Hamilton about 2 years now, so just seeing it develop over time, and even this center being developed. So it's been great
Yeah.
to like cultivate where comics and storytellers.
How did you pick Hamilton? Like what?
When I was barbering in Oakville, I was living in Hamilton because rent is too expensive in Oakville.
But even Oakville, like what made you come this way? And then
It was
to
my
Hamilton?
options was like Burlington. It was close to work, really.
Okay.
It was like Burlington. It was like, okay, I can't find a place out there. Hamilton's next door.
Okay, so when
and I
you were in
liked it. I
Oakville.
like Hamilton reminds me of where I grew up as a kid. But yeah, man, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. So it's full
yeah,
circle.
I mean, as you know, I grew up in Hamilton, but then when I went to university, I left town and I came back. But only in retrospect did I realize how racist it was. Like,
Where?
In Hamilton, when I was
Really?
growing up, like I
Okay.
think back to some of just the people would say the most incredible things, just
It's unfiltered at the time.
and you don't
right?
even notice it until like, oh my God, what the hell were they saying? Like even the way it's just amazing. Yeah. But Hamilton I'm really glad I grew up in Hamilton. I don't know. We're sad to see you go.
Oh man, I'm always gonna be back. Definitely, I'm gonna be back eventually. And here, Toronto, I'm gonna still do comedy. So
Yeah.
I'm always gonna watch you guys' stuff and support, man, for sure. Sorry, I can't be funny for you guys. 'Cause I was.
Why start now?
I had material.
It's a roast. I missed the roast.
Yeah, that was fun too. I had material, but then I was like, man, I'm just gonna watch tonight and.
Nice.
Yeah, I got family in BC. Yeah, I got family. Most of my heritage is out in BC, and then some is in England. So it was funny when you said autistic. I was like, yeah, that's a big part of it.
Really
Big
well
part of
organized.
autism for me.
Yeah.
What made you move here from Vancouver in the first place?
I naturally have an inclination to travel. Being born in England, I traveled from England to Vancouver, and it was. I call myself the Dollar Tree version of Idris Elba, and it's one of those things. I just love seeing the world. I love meeting people. I love expanding my horizons. So,
Cruise ship comic.
huh?
Cruise ship comedy.
Cruise ship comedy. Stop that! Oh boy, I get
Travel the
seasick. Oh man.
Well, this guy, it was Sam Richardson. He was on. I listened to podcasts this week because I got back and I finally had some time.
Yeah.
But Sam Richardson, who, what the fuck was I talking about Sam Richardson for?
Cruise ships.
Cruise ship, yeah, because he was talking about his experience. He was 22 years old as a comic, and he said he basically worked 5 hours a week,
Oh, yeah.
and then he had the rest of the week just to be on the cruise ship and hang out.
I don't know what to do with that much
For
time.
20 some odd year old, that sounds amazing.
I cannot do something. I need to do something.
Right.
I have a hypertension
Right.
disorder, and I need to do something.
Yeah.
It's always like editing, filming. It's always something creative. My brain is always going.
Well,
doesn't
that's going to
stop.
work to your advantage.
Yeah. But when you talked about Adderall, I was laughing because Adderall, it suppresses so much of your feeling.
Okay, so you've had a similar experience?
Yeah,
with it?
yeah, for sure. You can't like focus. You can't like dial in, or you don't feel as creative because you're so like.
Yeah, it's weird. It's kind of like
Numbs everything.
dull, gray, kind of less color. And
I never liked it.
Yeah.
As much as has been advised for me, I never liked it.
Yeah, that's interesting. But, different brains, it works differently. So who
Yeah.
knows? Not advocating either way. Yeah. Well, so you got a flight literally like soon.
Well,
Or you
I got
gonna-
a board. I got
Yeah.
a board at 5.
Okay.
Flight's at 6. And
But you're
with
gonna head up to
airports,
the
you always have to
airports,
be there like 4 hours?
They say
What is-
that, but
what
I
is
always
with
go
that?
2 hours. But don't listen to me. Yeah, maybe 3.
I think in Canada you have to be there 2 hours.
2
2 hours?
maybe for, yeah.
Man, it's still stressful. 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because they got the lines and all that.
5 a.m.,
Yeah, the flight's at 6.
6 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like there's going to be delays.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a good
first
time because
flight out.
it's in the morning. So,
That's the first flight, yeah.
but typically I can't.
Be there.
So I chased Joey off the stage for nothing?
you practically you did. Where'd he go? Is he smoking? Okay.
Probably smoking, yeah. Do you want to do a set?
No, I don't really have anything I was gonna. Well, I had some thoughts and stuff.
Yeah,
but,
go for it, yeah.
So I learned that Hugo Boss, he designed a lot of the clothing for Hitler's Nazi camp for a couple, I don't know how many decades, but it was interesting to think about. And also Hitler had a double life apparently of being a gay Nazi. And I was thinking, I was like, what was that conversation like between Hugo Boss and Adolf Hitler? With the clothing, like I need the shorts a little tighter. It's not gay enough, I need my arm length needs to go a little higher above my head, So that's something I'm working on right now. And I heard, apparently there's a Hitler documentary right now.
I
I'm
heard.
fascinated to watch.
Yeah.
So
Somebody
it's
made a joke
interesting.
about it.
I'm
Yeah.
expanding my comedy because I like talking about stuff that I go through, but I don't want to feel too depressing about it because it's life, right?
Yeah.
But I want to have fun in it too. So I take inspirations from like Louis C.K. a little bit, and even Jeselnik as well, for a little, like misdirection as well. So I'm finding fun in not just what happens in my life, but my observations and the absurdity of life too. So I'm finding new enjoyment.
It's such an amazing art form because it's kind of combining. Well, it's the analytical side. It's your mind systems that you have to put together, and the way, the style that you do it is like stories and how the ideas come together and the trade-off and the misdirection or whatever. But the other thing is, how do you feel on stage? Like, are you likable? Are you moving slowly, that kind of thing. If you put it together really well, it's like it's magic, right?
That's what we all search for. That's what those 10, 15 years are all about.
Yeah.
And that's what's the most exciting thing about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anyone has ADHD.
I think most people.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Cool. I spoke about ADHD to other people before, and how I say it, it's like opening up multiple tabs on your website browser. They literally playing the videos, and it's like hearing orgasms in 97 languages. That's what ADHD is for me.
That's
all the
tabs.
time.
All your tabs.
All the tabs are
all
open.
the time. Yeah, and they never shut off. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's like, I think of trauma is kind of like an alarm bell that just keeps ringing. That's why I think of it sometimes. It's like if you had some kind of experience, it's like your body responded in the way it should, which is like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But for some whatever reason, because of the situation, sometimes the alarm bell just keeps going, and it's kind of hard to turn off.
Yeah.
But we find ways.
Yeah, finding ways. Comedy is the way for me. That's that outlet.
Isn't it weird talking about something really makes it so different? I mean, like talk therapy, it's all about just the fact that if you're forced to bring it to mind and turn it into words, you're forced to like narrativize the whole thing. You have to look at it differently because in your mind you're thinking without words sometimes, and you have feelings and understanding of something is. But if you're forced to talk about it,
You're almost owning
you
it.
kind of have to understand it in a more structured way, which there's some trade-offs to that.
It gives you time to think about it, but also it gives you time to like own it too. Because sometimes we don't own what we go through until you talk about it and you realize there's so much knowledge and experience in there that it can actually connect with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And you don't do that until you be vulnerable with yourself to get there. And that has been extremely hard for me as a comic, because I didn't realize, be on stage, you have to strip back layers.
Interesting.
It's a perspective, like, for me, my style of comedy.
Yeah.
Where maybe I'll talk about my personal life instead of scenarios.
And we don't really have many opportunities to bond with people bodily. Like, that would be weird. So you have to kind of meet someone and talk to them to get into that same realm of understanding. And then...
I gotta go.
Yeah, you gotta go?
Yeah. So my cousin. Thank you.
Tolu Amore!
Thank you. Cheers.
Yeah, give me a hug before you go. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. You're doing great. Keep it up. All right. Oh yeah? Do you want to come up? Anybody? Yeah? Singing? Anybody? I don't even know what time it is. I guess we could call it an early night. We could just hang out after, but Sean's going to sing a song for us to close out the night. And then we can just, anybody wants to hang out, welcome to. Or if anybody else wants to get up on stage, this is another time we could have a second wave. Sean Patrick Sullivan.
So, thank you. And Jake, thank you so much for such a fabulous evening. Are we sure that none of us want to come up? Because I definitely love having the last word. Okay, I'll concede tonight. Just for you. Who are you? Do you know anyone here, or are these all strangers to you? Hey, how are you? Okay. That's excellent. Have you ever been here before? Okay. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so sorry. Okay. You're so sweet. You're sweet and you're involved, and you brought another warm body in here. What? That wasn't me. Oh, that was you. Oh, yes. Yes, I only talk about human penises. But seriously, folks, is it? Yes. So is it okay if we end this conversation for now? I can talk to you later. Oh, Joey's coming back in. Do you want to say what you have to say with him here? All right. You want to get up here? Okay. Sometimes the snow comes down in June. Ladies and gentlemen, what's your name? Kat.
So, yeah, so I just want to say, I really love when comedians talk about, I don't want to touch it because I notice it's really close to people's mouths, but okay. I know people put their chin on it and stuff, but like, yeah, but I don't want to touch it. I have OCD, can you tell? Anyways, yeah, I love when people talk about their families, right? Like, that's my favorite thing, is when people talk about their families, because I find people fascinating. And I think, like, if someone talks about their mom, like, that's the most you'll know about them, right? So I really love that. So I've been trying to work on something, like, that doesn't involve monkey penis. I would like to talk about my parents, who are extremely bizarre, like, in every way of the world. Like, they're funny, like, right? But I'm trying to make, like, a little routine where I could talk about my parents. And I just think I'm coming across as an asshole, like, every time I try to talk about it. And I couldn't figure out why. And, because I don't think I'm an asshole, and but it's not coming across as funny. And then the other day, Joe and Terry and I went out for dinner by the lake, and so we're eating our food, and then, like, so people are walking by, and there's a lady that walks by, and she's I immediately zone in on the fact that she's got this puppy who's a Siberian Husky. Joe's laughing. So a Siberian Husky, and he's a puppy, but he's so calm, and I'm mesmerized by this dog. So I go up to her because I want to ask her why her puppy's so calm. Anyways, I'm there talking to her about this puppy for about 10 minutes, and then I come back, and Joe, who's my brother, by the way, says to me, "Oh my God, you're just like Mom," and I lose it, start screaming, and he can attest to this. Like, and I'm a calm person. I think I'm a nice person, but I started losing, going, take it back right now. And he's like, no, but I'm like, take it back. I am not like Mom at all. How can you say? And then eventually he said, he gets me to calm down enough that he says, no, I just meant that you go up to people and just talk to them, right? And I'm like, I realized that I need to get myself into a headspace where I'm not so defensive and that I can actually see the funny, and then I won't look like an asshole. That's all I was.
Actually, well, let me do a B side of that.
Okay. She's an asshole.
Okay, yeah. So my mother is the kind of person who will just walk up to somebody and just start talking to them, and and this person does not leave. Like, it's weird. So anyways, yeah, I told Cab that, oh my God, you're exactly like Mom, and fucking Cab loses it. Then a week later, Cab's child, Mirko over here, I was talking to Mirko, and fucking Mirko was exactly like Cab. And I go, oh my God, you're exactly like your mother. And guess what Mirko did? Fucking lost it. And started screaming at me. And finally, when Mirko was all calmed down, I explained, no, it's because you had the same... It was the exact... It was really meta funny because all three of you react exactly the same way. Because I did do that to Mom once. I was like, you're exactly like Grandma. And she fucking lost it. So it's basically four people who are quadruplets, all fucking mad as hell that I noticed that. So I thought that's the B part of the story. But yeah, we do have to write the script.
Yep. Reintroducing Sean Patrick Sullivan. Sean!
There are so many things that I wonder about. I wonder if the Earth is flat. I wonder if Nazis are living under the ice in Antarctica. I wonder if the Nazis really lost World War II. I wonder why I was obsessed with Nazis and Wonder Woman from the age of 4. I wonder if my genetics knew that I was ethnically Jewish. I wonder about so many different things. The thing that gets me out of bed is not the people in my life, although the people in my life are amazing, nor is it my career, although obviously I'm brilliant at that. What gets me up out of bed every morning is my wonder at being alive and the knowledge that sooner or later I'll know what the truth of reality is. Because as I slip to my death, which is only going to come after a 7-figure deal with Netflix, I'll know, right? We'll all know. Sooner or later, everyone. Sooner or later. Sooner or later. We'll edit this out in post. Please bear with me. Sooner or later, you're gonna be mine. Sooner or later. Baby, it's time that you faced it. I always get my man. Sooner or later, you're gonna decide. Sooner or later, there's nowhere to hide. Baby, it's time, so I wasted and chatter. Let's settle the matter. Baby, you're mine on a platter. I always get my laugh. But if you insist, babe, the challenge delights me. The more you resist, babe, the more it excites me. And no one I've kissed, babe, ever fights me again. If you're on my list, it's just a question of when. When I get a yen, then baby, amen. I'm counting to 10. And then I'm gonna love you like nothing you've known. I'm gonna love you and you all alone. Sooner is better than later, but lover, I harbor a plan. This time I'm not only getting, I'm holding my. Man, it's been such a great night here at the Center for the Talking Arts at 154 James Street South. Your host has been Jake Jenk. Your AV guru has been Dexter Eco. Good night, everybody.